There's not just a battle for electric cars, there's a battle for electric trucks. As we look at the EV space, we join the one and only Petrina Gentile, automotive journalist. And of course, she's got the fantastic YouTube channel, Moto Ragazza. Hi, Petrina.
Hi, Elias. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm very happy because I think you were one of the last people we had on the show before I went on vacation during In Transit, and now I'm back from vacation today. And I think to put me in a good mood, they said we got to get Petrina on the show. So I'm happy that you're on with us this morning.
Are you kidding? I wouldn't miss it. And happy belated birthday as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Petrina. Hey, I want to tell you one thing, and that is last week while I was on vacation, I went on my first road trip in my Tesla, and it was just a delight. The charging situation was fantastic. It was easy. My expectations were surpassed, and I had no problems getting to and from on the highway in an EV. And I was a little worried because, my whole life, gas car, you could just get off at any exit. A little bit more planning, but it was fantastic.
Excellent. Glad to hear you had no range anxiety.
No, and I didn't have anxiety because, how much battery you have left. And it was actually, it's interesting because, in the old gas car, right, when you're looking at the gas tank, you sort of never know how quickly that last quarter of a tank is going to go down sometimes.
It's true. It's
so
true.
I find that that was more anxiety than when you look at the battery reading and it's very precise. It's telling you you're going to get there and you're going to have 22%. It was actually a little bit more, calming than not knowing just how fast that gas tank was going to run out. Okay, I want to get to electric trucks because there are some names we know and love. There are some names we've never heard of, but everyone is going after this space, trucks, because trucks are generally more expensive vehicles. There's a lot of profit to be had here. So why don't you tell us about these brewing wars in the electric truck space?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. You know what? It all started with the Tesla Cybertruck. And that, if you remember, that was launched or unveiled back in November of 2019. And everyone now is running to get into that space. No one is in, production yet. Nothing's on the road yet. But it's really interesting. So like I say, Tesla kicked it off. We haven't really seen too many updates on the Cybertruck, but we do know that it's going to have 3 different versions. The longest version is going to have a range of about 800 kilometers with their 3 electric motors and all-wheel drive system. It'll tow like 14,000 pounds. Interesting, though, this apparently has had over 1 million pre-orders of the Cybertruck since it launched, which is really quite remarkable. They say it's going to come out later this year, but it'll probably be delayed.
Okay, so, you say it'll probably be delayed. And is this a Tesla thing, or is this the whole industry here where you're just seeing these delays?
It's the whole industry, and that's simply because of the global semiconductor chip shortage. So a lot of manufacturers had to, temporarily shut down their production because they didn't have these chips, which basically runs a lot of the safety features inside the vehicle. So it really has affected production on many levels, like the Ford F-150 Lightning, which is the F-150 all-electric truck. They're anticipating to have it on the road by the spring of 2022. But again, they haven't started production on it yet. There have been over 100,000 pre-orders since they debuted it a couple of weeks ago. And that's probably going to be pushed back as well. So it affects everyone, not just those startups, but also the traditional automakers as well.
I want to give you a little side note here, Petrina, and I think it is all intertwined, all related when you talk about these semiconductor shortages, right? The chips that go in the vehicles, the processors that go in the vehicles, there's a shortage. That has slowed down production of all vehicles. And let me tell you something, Petrina. When I got my new car 3 months ago, I traded in my old vehicle, okay? And I kid you not, in the last month, I have had 3 different people, and it's all previous dealerships that I've dealt with in the past, either for maintenance or who I bought the vehicle from originally, have reached out either via text or via email or phone calls, and they've said, "Hey, do you still have your old car? We want to buy it." And, and I was like, wait a minute, this is like, I guess I sold my old car too early because I've now had I did, right? So
Yeah.
something's they can't produce enough new cars, so now the used vehicle market is heating up.
Exactly. And they are, scrambling to get more used cars on their lots because, as you say, they don't have that new car inventory.
Hmm.
So if you are planning to sell your car now is the time to do it because you're going to get the best bang for your buck for sure.
It's so crazy because 3 months ago, my car was 10 years old plus.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
like, sure, you can trade it in no problem, but there was nobody like clamoring for it.
No.
And now it's quite annoying. I'm getting these cold calls for a vehicle that I've already sold. Okay, I want to bring it back to the electric trucks. You talked about the Cybertruck, you talked about the Ford F-150 Lightning, but there are more people in this space. There are more companies in this space. Let's talk about the rest of the electric truck competitors to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of startups in the U.S. There's one that is Michigan-based, and it's called Bollinger, and they have, the most expensive electric truck that's on the market. It's $125,000, and like
Whoa.
really bare bones. It doesn't have much inside. It doesn't have many safety or convenience features. No Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, none of that stuff. It doesn't even have a very long range. The range is only about 320 kilometers. But what it does have is a lot of versatility in the fun factor because you can take the roof off, you can take the doors off, you can take the windshield off and the windows off. Like a Jeep, you can extend the bed of the truck by 2 feet, and you can actually put in a 16-foot ladder inside, like, because it goes basically right, it's hollow right in the cabin, and then it has a front trunk as well. So it's really kind of cool. And Canada apparently is the second largest market for this after the U.S.
So I've never heard of Bollinger, and I'm into electric vehicles and that stuff. Never heard of Bollinger. I just did a search while you're talking about it, and you're right on the sort of, how would you put it, Spartan styling. I mean, it looks like a World War II Jeep kind of vehicle. Like it's got the visible bolts and stuff, but
Yeah.
it does look like it would do the job if you needed a truck.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's called the B2. And they also have an SUV as well that they're working
My
on.
my goodness, it is quite the interesting vehicle. Okay, and then can we sneak in and I mean, it's looking more and more like you'll never be able to buy this car. But Lordstown Motors,
Right.
are they going to be around in a month, Petrina? What's happening with them?
Yeah, it's still questionable. I mean, they say they're still going strong. They're going to introduce their Endurance.
Uh-huh.
And this is basically, they're building this, they say, right out of the old GM factory in Lordstown, Ohio. So it'll be interesting to see. They're still plugging away at it and saying, yeah, it's going to come out 400-kilometer range, something like 600 horsepower. They're aiming for later this year, but again, they may not be around to deliver on that
Well,
promise.
the CEO, and just left the company. Like, what was it? Like last week or 2 weeks? Like, okay, we're out, and the Justice Department is investigating them for fraud. I mean, this is not good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else we're missing here, Petrina, in the
Yeah.
truck space?
Rivian. Rivian is another startup out of the U.S. They have their R1T, and this is really designed for adventures at heart. This is designed for people that want to go off-roading. It has adjustable air suspension, so it can actually drive through 3 feet of deep water. It's still very luxurious inside, lots of wood, leather, lots of technology. It also has a front trunk and 3 different battery options. The biggest battery has a range of 650 kilometers or so.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that they're going to come out with this fall for the original first edition model would be about $97,000. But again, might be a little bit later.
I will say this: I actually really like how that Rivian truck looks. It's like, I find this, it's a traditional kind of truck look, but I find the LED lights on the front look really nice. I saw some crazy video of how like a camping kit, like a cook kit, so you can actually like make food on while you're camping, will just come out of the vehicle. And I said, "Ooh, this looks pretty good." But of course, it's always easier said than done when it comes to making a brand new car.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And there are a lot of cool features like that. The Ford F-150 Lightning also has 11 outlets on its on the entire vehicle, so you can actually plug in a coffee maker, you can plug in a crock pot, or you can plug in power tools or a laptop if you need to do work. And I was just out and I saw the not a truck but the Hyundai Ioniq 5 last week, which there is an SUV. It's brand new, and they actually had an adapter where you could put the adapter into the outlet where you would normally charge, and they had an espresso coffee maker attached to it, so you can make coffee out of it, and it was the coolest thing.
Petrina, here's my worry. My worry is that these trucks, have to have 11 outlets and they have to have a coffee maker because the housing market is so crazy. They're basically going to sell them so like people in Toronto can live in them. You know what I mean? Like that's the worry. All right, Petrina, thanks.
For what you're paying for, yeah. I mean, when you're paying north of 100,000, oh yeah, you can live in it.
Jeez, I'm telling you. Okay, Petrina, listen, thanks for coming on this show and keeping us up to date on the latest happenings in the automotive space. Always great talking to you.
Great talking to you too. Thanks so much. Take care.
Petrina Gentile, automotive journalist. You can read her words in Globe and Mail, among other places. And of course, the YouTube channel is Motor a Gas.